Hi learners, welcome back to my channel. I'm Vishaka, a senior solutions architect, and today in this video we will learn how to deploy a large language model on a cloud-based GPU instance. To make this practical, we will be building a local LLM chat application. It will have a chat interface where you can send prompts, a VLLM backend engine that will serve your model, and a Docker container that packages all of the setup so that it can run cleanly on a GPU instance. So by the end of this walkthrough, you should understand three things. First, what the architecture looks like. Second, how the main services talk to each other. Third, how the code and deployment brings the whole project online. So this is not a command to command project. The essence here is to understand the deployment pattern for large language models. Now what this project looks like. At a high level, we will be deploying a smaller model on a VLLM backend engine. It is a small project, but it represents the common AI infrastructure pattern. A user opens a browser, the browser talks to a front-end service. The inference server loads the model, and then it runs generations on the GPU. In this project, we are using Streamlit as the front end, VLLM engine as the inference server, Docker as the packaging layer, and we are deploying this on AWS G4 instance, which runs NVIDIA's Tesla T4 GPUs. Key concepts we need to understand before the demo makes sense. First, it's a local LLM deployment. Now, in a hosted API, the model runs somewhere. When you send a prompt to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, the model is not running on your local laptop. It's running somewhere else. You call an external service, and that service handles the whole infrastructure, the model, the runtime, the GPUs, and all the scaling patterns. On the other hand, in the local or a self-hosted deployment, we are running the model ourselves. The model weights are downloaded to our machines or the server. The inference engine, which is VLLM, loads that into the GPU memory, and then our application sends the prompt to this local model server. Now, hope you understand the difference between the local self-hosted deployment versus the applications hosted by the model providers. Second, VLLM. We are using VLLM as the inference engine in this project. You can think of it as the serving layer which sits between the user-facing application and the model. Now, VLLM does a bunch of things here. It loads the model, manages the GPU memory, handles the incoming requests, and then on top of it, it uses serving optimizations. Now these serving optimizations are the key part. Optimization techniques like paged attention and efficient KV cache management make sure these models generate tokens efficiently. Now VLLM also exposes OpenAI compatible API endpoint, which means front-end can call VLLM endpoints in a familiar way using endpoints like /v1, /chat, /completions. Now VLLM is just one option for the serving layer. There are other inference engines as well that teams used for test and production use cases. These are SGLang, TensorRT LLM. Now the right choice for this inference engine depends on the model, hardware, latency needs, throughput goals, and also what a company is already standardizing on. Now our third component is Streamlit. Streamlit is the UI layer. Firstly, it does not run the model. It just gives you a chat interface. So basically you can send prompt to the chat application which will send a request to the VLLM backend, and it will be showing you the generated response. The container toolkit. Now this is the most important component. This is how the Docker containers will access the GPU devices. Now without it, the host machine can see the GPUs, but your containers won't. So the mental model here is Docker runs the whole environment. VLLM serves the model. Streamlit provides the UI, and the GPU performs the inference. Now, before we dive into the code, let's understand the architecture first. We have two main services running inside a single Docker container, a VLLM server and the Streamlit application. Now, you can have separate containers for both, but I chose to host both of these services in a single container. Now, the first step here is you can select an open source model from Hugging Face, which is basically the GitHub repository for AI model. Once that's done, the VLLM loads the selected model, and VLLM engine is responsible to run that inference on GPU. In addition, VLLM also exposes the endpoint. So that is the first architecture here. Now the second one is our Streamlit app. Since it gives us a chat interface, first it checks if the VLLM endpoint is online. Then it lists the active model. Next, if there is a user prompt, Streamlit will send that prompt to the VLLM API. And once VLLM runs the inference, it will send the response back to the Streamlit app and it will show the response in the application. Now, I did not draw this architecture from scratch. I pasted this entire project description into Gamma along with my visual guidelines, basically how I like making my diagrams, and Gamma created this whole visual storyboard just in few minutes. Now, what impressed me the most was how Gamma didn't just create diagrams, it turned a whole project into a presentation-ready architecture walkthrough. Instead of manually creating slides, drawing boxes, connecting services, and writing explanations, it did the heavy lifting and organized everything into a visual story that was actually easy to follow. The output wasn't just prettier, it was easier to understand, easier to share with a team, and also easier to present during architect interviews. I know in the previous few videos you have asked for slides. I've linked them below for your reference. Now, as engineers and architects, we should be able to explain what we are building before we start building it. So you can generate the slide deck in the exact same way. Use my prompt and generate a workflow before you write a single command. I've added the prompt in the guide below. Now, coming back to the architecture, there's also an entry point script here. This script basically controls the startup order. So it has to start with VLLM first. Once the VLLM model worker is healthy on the /health endpoint, then the Streamlit application starts. The order matters here because the Streamlit UI depends on the VLLM backend engine to be online first. The request flow is simple here. Your browser sends a request to this public IP on port 80 where the Streamlit UI application is hosted. Now the Streamlit app communicates with the VLLM engine on port 8000. The VLLM worker runs the GPU inference and then it streams the model response back to the Streamlit app. Now let us start building and validate the architecture in the actual demo. Now let me walk you through the flow of the demo here. I've already launched the AWS G4 instance which is running NVIDIA's Tesla T4 GPUs. The detailed instance setup steps is in the guide below. It includes the driver, Docker, the NVIDIA container toolkit installation, as well as the security group configuration. Now this would be the flow of the demo. First, we will prepare the project files. Second, we install and verify all the dependencies. Third, we will be building the Docker image. Fourth, we will run the container with the GPU access. Fifth, we will open the public IP and test the chat UI. And finally, we will be looking at the VLLM logs and the endpoints to understand what's running behind the scenes. Now let's dive into the project implementation. I'm already logged into the G4 instance and we start by placing all the required files in one project folder. The important files here are app.py, docker file, entrypoint.sh and requirements.txt. Now app.py is where your Streamlit UI app is running and docker file here builds the container image. Entrypoint.sh controls what's the order of the services and how they are started. And requirements.txt contains all the dependencies required for this project. Now think of requirements.txt as a list of everything that's needed for this project. It tells Docker exactly which tools we need. PyTorch to run AI workloads on the GPU, VLLM to serve the model, Transformers to load the model, and Streamlit to build the chat UI. There's also Xformers library used here to help make inference faster and more memory efficient. Now these all versions are selected for a T4 class GPU environment. So the goal is to keep the Python stack compatible with CUDA and VLLM. The installation can take a few minutes, especially the first time because PyTorch and VLLM are large packages. So I'm going to speed through the wait and continue once the environment is ready. Now here, as you already know, VLLM is the inference engine. It handles model serving and exposes an API that our Streamlit frontend can call. In this case, the Streamlit app connects to the VLLM endpoint and sends chat request. For this project, we are using Qwen 2 1.5b instruct model, which is small enough for this particular GPU instance. Now, before the container can use the GPU, Docker needs to be configured with the NVIDIA container toolkit. Now, this is the layer that makes the GPU flag work. If this part is missing, the host may show the GPU with the NVIDIA SMI command, but the container will not be able to use it. Now we build this image using the docker build command. As soon as we run that, Docker reads the Docker file and creates the container image layer by layer. The first build can take time because it installs the CUDA compatible Python stack and downloads the required libraries. In my case, some layers are cached, so the build may look faster. Now the Docker file starts from an NVIDIA CUDA runtime image. That gives the container the CUDA runtime libraries needed by PyTorch and VLLM. Now let me give you a quick walkthrough of the Docker file. Remember, our model is running on an NVIDIA GPU. PyTorch and VLLM need a way to talk to that GPU. CUDA is the software layer that makes that communication possible. So instead of starting from a plain Linux image, we start from an NVIDIA CUDA image, because it already contains the GPU libraries that PyTorch and VLLM expect. Without those libraries, the container would start, but the AI model wouldn't be able to use that GPU. Now, once that's done, it installs Python, pip, curl, it sets all the working directory, copies the requirement files, installs the dependencies, and copies the app and the entry point script. It exposes two ports, 8000 for the VLLM API server and 80 for the Streamlit UI. Now let me give you a walkthrough of the entry point script. Now this script controls the startup sequence. It reads three runtime settings: model ID, GPU util, and max model length. Model ID selects the Hugging Face model. GPU util controls how much GPU memory VLLM can use. And max model length controls how much conversation the model can remember at once. Think of it as the size of the model's working memory. Then this script starts VLLM on port 8000. After that, it waits for /health curl check to return successfully. Once VLLM is healthy, it starts the Streamlit on port 80. Now this is the sequence that makes the app stable, start the backend, validate it, and then start the front end. Now the build is complete, so we can run the container. Here --GPUs all gives the container access to the GPUs. Now for this instance we just have one GPU, so the model will have access to the whole device. -P is the port which exposes the Streamlit UI, and -P8000 exposes the VLLM API. And model ID tells VLLM which model to load. The Hugging Face cache mount keeps model files on the host, so they do not need to download again every time. At this time, VLLM is loading the model. This can take a few minutes depending on the model size and whether the model is already cached. I'm going to speed this part up. Once VLLM is healthy, Streamlit starts automatically. Now we can go to the public IP of the instance and open the UI. Now here we can see that the model is connected. We can also change generation settings like temperature and top P. Now let me send a simple prompt. The prompt here goes from the browser to Streamlit. Streamlit sends it to VLLM through /v1/chat/completions. VLLM runs inference on the GPU and streams the answer back. So this confirms the full path: browser, Streamlit, VLLM, GPU, and model response. Now let's look into the logs and endpoints. The logs here are also useful because they show which endpoints VLLM is exposing. For this app, the most important endpoints are /health, /v1/models, and /v1/chat/completions. Here, /health is used by the startup script to check readiness. /v1/models let the front end discover the model. And a third endpoint, /v1/chat/completions is used for the chat interaction. Now, depending on the model and configuration, VLLM can expose completions, embeddings, tokenize, and de-tokenize endpoints as well. This is why VLLM is useful as a serving layer. We are not just running model script. We are exposing a standard API that other applications can call. Now a quick recap here. We deployed a local LLM chat application with Streamlit UI. We used VLLM as the backend engine, Docker to package the model, runtime, backend engine, and CUDA dependencies. And this entire application was hosted on an AWS G4 instance. Now from here, you can either use a different GPU instance, try another backend engine, switch models and see the performance. You can also extend this application further by splitting the container into front-end and a backend service, as I hosted this entire application in just one container. Now the critical takeaway here is the deployment pattern. What is the role of the backend engine? How do you package it using Docker? The future steps may involve deploying the same container into a Kubernetes cluster, because a lot of enterprises uses Kubernetes for production deployments. So focus on understanding the model deployment pattern here, and you can build different applications on top of it. See you in the next one.